I gave my cousin a referral for a job at my company. A month later, he told my manager I only hired family because I couldn't lead real talent. My manager called me in, showed me the email, and let me approve his termination myself. His keycard deactivated before he got back from lunch. I've been working at the same marketing firm in Denver for 6 years. It's not a huge place, but not tiny either. Around 150 people. We do branding and digital campaigns for companies across the West. I started at the bottom as an intern. Now I'm a team lead. I worked hard to get there. No handouts, no shortcuts. Just late nights, hitting every deadline, and always stepping up. I don't normally mix work with family. Too messy. But about 2 months ago, I slipped. My cousin Dave reached out. We're the same age, 31, but he's never really had his life together. I'm not trying to sound mean. That's just the truth. Growing up in Littleton, he was always bouncing between stuff. One year it was real estate. Next year it was trying to build a fitness brand. I lost count of how many times he started over. We hadn't talked much in recent years. Just occasional texts. Then one Friday night, out of nowhere, he called. Hey man, I saw your company's hiring. Think you could refer me? I hesitated, but I didn't say no. I asked about his experience. He said he did some SEO and content stuff for a local company in Arizona before they downsized. He sounded desperate. Said he just wanted a foot in the door. We had an opening for a junior content coordinator. I figured, all right, it's entry level. I can keep an eye on him. Help him land on his feet. I told him I'd put his name in. Biggest mistake I've made in years. He got the job. Started 2 weeks later. I introduced him to the team, showed him how he did things. I even told Dan, my manager, that he was my cousin. Full transparency. Dave seemed fine at first. A little quiet. I chalked it up to nerves. He asked questions, wrote a few decent blurbs for some client blogs, and sat in on campaign planning. But I started noticing little things by the end of week 2. He missed a 10 a.m. stand-up because he lost track of time. He submitted a weekly report that looked like it was copied from Google. I had to walk him through how to use our CMS. It wasn't hard stuff, just basic tools. But I figured, hey, maybe it'll click. Then it got weird. People on my team started acting different. Not everyone, but a few. They seemed less relaxed. Carla, one of my best team members, pulled me aside one day after lunch. She said, "Is Dave okay?" I asked what she meant. She said, "He asked me if I thought you actually knew what you were doing." I blinked. Then she added, he said it in this smug way. Like, he already made up his mind. That night, I went home and couldn't sleep. I thought about calling him, asking what the hell he was doing, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Maybe Carla misunderstood. Maybe I imagined the way he looked at me in meetings, like he knew something I didn't. Then, a few days later, Dan called me into his office. He didn't look mad, just serious. "Close the door," he said. I sat down. He turned his monitor toward me. He said, "I think you should see this." It was an email, sent to Dan directly, from Dave, my cousin. The subject line was, "Concerns about team culture and leadership." I felt a pit in my stomach. I started reading. Dave wrote that I was building a team around personal relationships, not performance, and that I didn't challenge ideas or lead with clarity. He said I only hired people I was comfortable with, and he named 2 other coworkers I've known for years. One of them was a college friend, but she came in through HR. I had no hand in hiring her. He also wrote, "I worry that our team is stuck under a ceiling because our leader avoids hiring anyone who might outshine him." I read it twice. My mouth was dry. Then Dan said, "There's more." He clicked on a PDF attachment. It was a freaking slide deck. I swear to God, Dave made a presentation. It had charts, quotes from Slack, even a side-by-side comparison of performance metrics between him and other team members. He twisted context so bad it made my head spin. He made it sound like I was holding the team back on purpose. I looked at Dan. I didn't know what to say. He said, "I've been a manager a long time. I've seen bad hires, lazy hires. This is a snake move. He's trying to get you pushed out." I asked him, "What happens now?" Dan leaned back. He said, "Well, I already drafted the termination with HR. I wanted you to see it first." I just sat there, silent. Then he said, "You want to approve it?" I said, "Yes." Dan slid the screen toward me. I clicked, approve. That was it. Dave had gone out for lunch right before the meeting. Chipotle. He loved that place. He probably thought it was just another chill Monday. HR deactivated his keycard before he got back. I walked to the front lobby and waited. 15 minutes later, Dave showed up, burrito in hand. He tapped his badge. Nothing happened. He tried again. Still red. The front desk lady said, "You'll need to wait here a minute." Then HR came down. 2 people. They asked him to come with them. He looked confused but followed. I didn't go in. I didn't have to. 10 minutes later, he came out carrying a box with some stuff from his desk. Red in the face. Not angry, just shocked. He saw me standing by the window. He walked over and said loud enough for the front desk and anyone nearby to hear, "You set me up. You always hated me. You just waited for a reason." I didn't flinch. I just said, "You did this to yourself." He left. Hasn't called or texted since. My mom asked why Dave suddenly moved back to Arizona. I told her he couldn't handle Denver. So, I thought that was the end of it. I thought I'd never hear from Dave again. That maybe he'd go back to Arizona or try to lie his way into another job somewhere else. But 2 weeks later, things got worse. Much worse. It started with small stuff. One morning, I got into work and my team Slack channel was full of weird questions. Stuff like, "Hey, is it true you used to date Carla?" Or, "Someone just DM'd me and said you've been faking your reports." At first, I thought maybe someone was playing a dumb prank. But then I opened my email. There was a message in my inbox from a fake account. No name. Just a Gmail address with numbers and letters. The subject said, "Thought you should know what people really think about you." Inside was a screenshot of an anonymous Glassdoor review. It slammed me by name. Said I was a toxic, self-absorbed manager who crushed new ideas and only promoted people who kissed his ass. I laughed. Then I stopped laughing, because that review hadn't been there the day before. And 2 more showed up the next morning. All with weirdly specific jabs. All saying the same thing, that I was petty, lazy, and full of myself. One even said I got promoted because I blackmailed HR. That one made me sit up straight. Because that's not the kind of thing you guess. That's something someone bitter and close might say. I knew it had to be Dave, but I didn't have proof. Then it got personal. Someone called our office line and asked for me. I wasn't at my desk, so Carla picked up. The guy on the other end said he was doing a background check and wanted to verify some ethics complaints tied to me. Carla asked who he was with. He hung up. She told me right after. That night, I went home and tried to pull up my own name online, just to see. There was a new Reddit thread in some Denver job seekers sub. Title, "Avoid working under my real full name at company name." Inside was a long post saying I used family connections to hide my incompetence, and that I backstabbed a junior employee after stringing him along for favors. It got a few upvotes. A couple comments. Nothing huge, but enough to leave a mark if someone Googled me. My stomach dropped. He wasn't just mad. He wanted to ruin me. I stayed quiet at work for a while. But Dan noticed I was off. I finally told him everything. He called HR right away. We looped in legal. They couldn't prove it was Dave, not yet. But they flagged the fake reviews and started building a case. Then something happened that made it all real. Late Friday night, I got a message on Facebook from an account with no profile picture. It said, "You really thought you were untouchable, but you just started a war." You'll see. That was the first time I felt fear. Real fear. Because this wasn't just about work anymore. This was about me. My life. My name. My future. And I knew right then. If I didn't stop this, he was going to keep coming. Keep trying. Keep poisoning the well. So I made a decision. If he wanted war? Fine. But I wasn't going to fight it alone. I spent that weekend gathering everything. Screenshots. Emails. The anonymous messages. The fake reviews. Even a photo I found on LinkedIn. Someone had created a copycat account using my name and title, but with a slightly different photo. It looked like me, but the bio said I was looking for new work because of ethical differences at my current job. I nearly threw my phone across the room. He was trying to tank my reputation so I'd either get fired or leave on my own. Thing is, I don't fold easy. Not after how long I've worked to get where I am. So Monday morning, I asked Dan if we could meet before work started. Just him and me. I showed him everything. I told him I knew it was Dave, even if I didn't have his name on the emails. The tone, the timing, the bitterness, it all matched. I even showed him how the first fake Glassdoor review was posted just 36 hours after Dave was walked out. Dan nodded slowly. Then he said, "Let's go higher." We brought it to corporate HR and the company's internal IT guy. His name's Rob. Quiet guy, works in the back room with 2 monitors and noise-canceling headphones. But he's sharp. Very sharp. He said, "Let me dig." And that's when things turned. 3 days later, Rob called me into his office. He'd tracked the IP addresses tied to the fake profiles and the Glassdoor reviews. They were bouncing through VPNs, but one of them slipped. One review was posted without the VPN running. Guess where it came from? A Starbucks Wi-Fi hotspot. In Littleton, half a mile from Dave's mom's house. That wasn't a smoking gun by itself. But Rob wasn't done. He pulled metadata from the LinkedIn photo used in the fake profile. It matched a photo Dave had publicly posted 2 years ago, a group picture from our cousin's wedding. I was in it. So was Dave. Same damn suit, same damn background. He cropped my head from that photo and used it for the fake account. I was shaking. Not from fear anymore, anger. Deep, hard, stomach-turning anger. That afternoon, legal got involved. They said it was enough to start a formal case of defamation and cyberstalking. But the process would take time, subpoenas, police reports, waiting on platforms to respond. I wanted to burn him down faster. Then Dan surprised me. He said, "Let's flip this. Let's make sure he never works in this town again." See, my company's well-connected. We do branding work for a bunch of major firms, nonprofits, tech startups. Name a company in Denver with an online presence. Odds are we've pitched to them or know someone there. Dan didn't mean we'd start bad-mouthing Dave. That'd be petty. No, we were going to expose him professionally. With facts. The plan started small. We crafted a neutral-sounding HR notice and circulated it quietly to partner firms and agencies we had close relationships with. It didn't name Dave directly. It just warned about a recent case involving someone misusing internal systems and engaging in online impersonation after termination. Then we waited. 2 weeks later, I got a message on LinkedIn from a contact at another firm downtown. She said, "Hey, was your ex-employee named Dave, last name? He applied here last week. Sounded familiar." I wrote back, "Yes." "Why?" She said, "He tanked his own interview. Tried to talk about how corrupt your company was. Red flags everywhere." We Googled his name and saw that weird Reddit post. Then we saw the corporate notice. Another door closed. And another. I heard through back channels that he got dropped from 2 more interviews after background checks flagged inconsistencies. Turns out, trying to sabotage someone else's career is a bad long-term move. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Because right when I thought he'd finally crawl back under his rock, he showed up in person. It was a Friday, end of a long week. I stayed late to finish a proposal for a new client. The office was almost empty, just me, the cleaning guy, and a few people in sales wrapping up. I was sitting at my desk when I heard the elevator ding. Didn't think anything of it. A few seconds later, I heard footsteps. Not rushed, not loud, just steady. Then I saw a figure come around the corner. It was Dave, in a black hoodie, jeans, and a look on his face I'll never forget. Not angry, not sad, just hollow. Like everything inside him had burned out. He stood by the doorway and said, "We need to talk." I didn't get up. I didn't say anything. Just stared at him. He took a step closer. "I lost everything," he said. "Every interview. Every chance." I said, "You did that to yourself." He laughed. A short, bitter sound. "No, you did. You wanted me gone the moment I stepped in that door." I stood up now. "Slow. Don't do this," I told him. "Whatever you're here for, just don't." He walked all the way in. Now we were 5 feet apart. "I just wanted a shot," he said. "One shot. You had your little kingdom, and you couldn't handle anyone else climbing up. That pissed me off. You sent lies to my boss," I snapped. "You tried to ruin my name. You made fake accounts. Called the damn office pretending to be a background checker." He blinked like he didn't know what I was talking about. Then he whispered, "I just wanted someone to believe in me." That stopped me cold. Because for a second, I remembered the kid version of him. The one I used to ride bikes with. The one who used to cry when he struck out in Little League because he thought he let the whole team down. That kid. But that kid wasn't standing in front of me anymore. This man was full of hate. So I said it. Slowly. Clearly. "You were given a chance. You spit on it. Then you blamed me for cleaning up the mess you made." He looked down. Then he reached into his pocket. I took a step back, heart pounding. But it was just an envelope. He placed it on my desk. Inside, a letter, handwritten, 8 pages. He'd poured out everything. His regrets, his anger, his broken self-image, His hatred for me, for his parents, for himself. At the bottom, one sentence. I never learned how to be someone. He walked out. The next morning, I called his mother. Told her everything. Told her he needed help. Serious help. She broke down crying. Said she didn't know where he'd been staying. They found him 2 days later, sleeping in his car behind an old gas station on the edge of town. I didn't go see him, but I heard through family he checked into a psych clinic a week after that. Started therapy. Cut off social media. Maybe it'll help. Maybe not. As for me, I'm still at the same company. Got promoted again. Bigger team now. More pressure, sure, but I sleep fine. Except sometimes I still think about how close I came to losing it all. My job, my name, my peace. Because I wanted to help someone I thought I owed something to. I don't owe anyone anything now. That part of me's gone. I didn't just fire him. I buried that version of myself that gives second chances to people who don't want to grow. If that makes me cold, so be it. Because in the end, not every snake hisses. Some smile, shake your hand, and ask for a referral.